There's the Cabinets to Go cabinet. I'll show you how we put them together. I just unboxed it. Just one of the cabinets. You can see that we've already put a few together. Haven't mounted anything on the walls yet, but just wanted to show you how this works out. So something I wanted to show you was that the drawers in some of the cabinets were actually missing. So we had to give them a call to get the others on order. So they should be arriving pretty soon. But this is how the drawers should arrive in the box. As soon as you open the box, you'll see the drawers, the pieces for the drawers that is, and you'll see the bottoms for the drawers. One side is shinier than the other. So the shiny side is the one that you want to see when you're opening the drawer. The other side is flat, and it'll be the underside. I don't know if you can really see the difference in how shiny this side is compared. You'll also get the drawer faces, and you'll see that it has 3 holes in it that you need to worry about. Don't worry about the big one. I think they just use that during the manufacturing process. But what we found is this hole in the middle is the one that's top up. So you'd be looking at it like this. So typically what we found with the other sides is that you're going to want to put these face down. This is the back, and then the face of it, you see that it's you see that's the face. You want to put it face down on a soft surface. If you don't put it on a soft surface, there's a good chance that you're going to break your cabinets before you even have them put together. They're great when they're put together, but they're not terribly sturdy, I would say, until they're assembled. So in case a piece falls, you want to make sure that it falls on the carpet. So as you can see, as I'm unpacking this, there's a lot of waste, a lot of styrofoam waste. So we have a dumpster. We're just taking several loads out at a time just to get it clear. Just prepared to have an area to put all your trash. If you want to stage it in your garage before you put these up, it's probably a good idea to make some room ahead of time. All right, so as you can see, these are from Cabinets to Go, one of these b.jorgsen and Company cabinetry crafters. It's funny, it has a website, www.b.jorgsen.com. When you go to that website, it redirects you to Cabinets to Go. So don't think that you can just order these directly. Cabinets to Go did a great job on our design. I feel that that's what we really paid for, because these are really good cabinets. But if you were to order direct, I'm sure you could probably go cheaper. So the design was good. We got these at a pretty good price. One of the things you want to look at is, open up your instruction booklet and make sure that you have all of the wood pieces that go to the particular cabinet that you're working on. In a little bit, I'm going to show you the different screws, because we had a little bit of a challenge at first trying to identify which screws went to what. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. All right, so I just dumped out the bag with all of the screws and the accessories that you'll receive with it. These are corner braces. They might not seem really sturdy. They really are. They're nylon. You put them in the top of the cabinets when everything is assembled. I'm going to show you how they go in here. You see, they just help to keep it a little bit sturdy, stable. These things really are sturdy without them in. However, manufacturer strongly recommends putting those in, so do it. Right here, you've got, these are the pieces that are actually going to hold your shelves in. They seem pretty flimsy, but let me tell you, once they're in, they will hold your shelves in nice and tough. If you ever have to replace them, good luck. I have no idea how to actually change that out without taking the back of the cabinets out. I think you would have to use some standard shelf pegs in order to replace these things. They sit like this. Okay, focus. Okay, well, you can kind of see. They sit like this in the cabinet, so the top is held by that little tab, and then all the weight rests on these right here. And then of course the little peg goes in the hole. Anyway, enough about that. You see it also comes with, what would you call those, bumper guards? Call it what you want. It's to make sure that your doors don't slam. All right, so here's the little screws. Little screws are going to be used to hold your drawer slides, and then the brackets to hold the drawer slides. These are the screws. And you can see there's only one shiny Phillips, what would you call it, just a flat. These secure the drawers together. So after you fit these guys together, you'll see that, where are they at here? Yeah, there they are. I'll show you later too, but inside of that hole, that's where those metal screws go. We had a little confusion because the drawings kind of suck. You've got your black screws and the metal screws that appear almost identical on the drawings, and so we had a big problem trying to figure out what goes where. These guys are what will hold the face on to your drawers. So it's 3 screws per drawer to hold the face on. So you can go ahead and separate up your black screws here. So I know a little math, a little calculation according to the list will tell you what goes where, but it was kind of confusing because we had actually mixed several of the screws together before we were ready to put everything together. So more on that in a little bit. Oh, one other thing, these little screws with the rounded heads on them, those are what will secure these guys into the corners. So they go in really easy. You don't have to pre-drill these guys. The holes for these are pre-drilled. The holes for these are pre-drilled. The holes for these little focus, these little flat guys are pre-drilled. The ones for these little rounded guys, they are not pre-drilled, but they go in just fine. You're working with plywood, so you're not really have to worry about anything splitting. And that covers the screws and accessories. If you're missing that, contact your manufacturer or your rep. All right, so Cabinets to Go cabinets have these little cam locks. Really easy to hold everything together. There's nothing in the instructions that says to use wood glue, but we did on the rest of ours. I was thinking, yeah, maybe if I ever wanted to take my cabinets with me when I moved, would I not use wood glue? But since, you know, we want to make sure everything stays nice and sturdy, we've been using Gorilla Glue, of course. Right there, Gorilla wood glue, works great, holds really, really great. Also, it holds Jeep trail lights on really well if they happen to fall off, but yeah. Anyway, you'll see that I have, of course, the face and then the back. I'm going to start on the face, and you'll see that there's like 2 parts to this here. We're going to put the sides on the face first, and we'll lock those in, and then we'll get to the rest of it. So these are the tools that I recommend. They don't talk about a rubber mallet or anything like that, and I'm sure there may be a better tool for it, but it's what I know and it works. It's great for tapping the drawers together without breaking the wood. You have to go you have to be firm, but you can't overdo it. And if you use like a metal hammer, you're gonna break your drawers. We actually had part of a tooth of the drawer because it was damaged in shipping. We had part of that break off, and of course the Gorilla Glue took care of it. But if you have any chips or dings in those teeth of the drawers, then if you use anything other than a rubber mallet, you're just gonna snap them right off. Like I said, when they're together, it's really, really sturdy, but putting it together, you gotta take great care. So, get a power drill. If you got a cordless one, that's great. I would recommend a cordless. I just don't have one. I like this guy right here because I can change the heads on him. It's helpful for some of the corner work when I can't fit this guy in. It fits in like 90% of all the cases here and what we've been putting together. But handy to have a hand tool. If you don't have a power tool, if you don't have a power drill with torque settings on it, I highly recommend it, just because you're going to be spinning this guy around a lot if you're not, and it's going to take you a long time to put these together. It's worth the investment. I think this is a cheap one. It was like $35 at Home Depot. If you can get cheaper at Walmart, great, whatever, but just get a power drill. It'll help you out a lot. All right, so for putting the side on, let's see if I can do this one-handed. My wife is usually here working with me to put these together, but she had to go run out for an appointment. So let's see here. They're pretty light. They're pretty light. I'm gonna walk over here, and as you can see, without touching the tile here, reorient myself. Okay, so I've got the front. You can see, if you've never done this before, this really helps, I know, because we were kind of wondering too. That little L shape there is where the kick plate is going to go, and that goes to the bottom of the cabinet. So here, let's reorient. You see that? You see the cams? I'm going to line up with these little cam locks. Sometimes these things aren't straight up and down. You can actually use your hand. Let's see if I can do it here. Yeah, to line it back up the way that you need to. Should be straight up and down. So that way the cams are open. So you should be able to fairly easily, I'm doing this one-handed now. If you did two hands, it'd be easier. So it just sets in, And even without locking it, you'll see that it stays up. It stays up just fine. So what I'm gonna do is get my screwdriver, and I'm gonna secure them, and then we're gonna do the next one. But you know what I forgot to tell you is that I'm going to go ahead and wood glue them first. So I'm going to take it back off. We'll wood glue it. I'll just set this guy right down here. Nice and gentle. Now wood glue takes a while to dry, so you don't have to worry about it drying too fast. It's not super glue. Even super glue takes a little bit of time. So anyway, what I'm doing here, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I just put a bead down the middle like this, and I don't want to go to the ends because it will leak out. Wipe the excess. The excess doesn't really matter. If anything comes out on a finished face, yeah, you want to get that off. But this comes off pretty clean while it's still somewhat wet. So make sure if any excess drips, just go ahead and get it off. Okay, so now that I've put that wood bead in, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in, and then I'm going to lock the cam locks. All right, so I'm filming this upside down now, so just bear with me. So I've got that face on, right? And flathead takes a flathead. Just go ahead and turn it. Some of these are kind of dopey, and that you see when they manufactured it, they left a little bit of a metal piece in the middle there. You're just gonna have to tweak it and turn it until it locks. Now that's firmly in there. You can see that a little bit of the wood glue came out of there, but that's okay because we're going to have a bottom piece that's going to come and sit in here. So that wood glue should still be fine. You can see a little bit came out right here. No big deal, because nobody's really going to see that. If you got one of those issues where everything has to be perfect, cool. Get a paper towel. I'm not one of those people. My wife will tell you. So anyway, all right, so I got this right here, and this is another one where it's kind of messed up, where there's a little bit of metal in the center of the cam lock, but that's okay. Just power right through it. Hoorah. All right, so that's locked in there. I'm gonna reorient yourself, don't get dizzy. Sorry, that's my hand. All right, so there you go. We're gonna do the exact same thing to the other side with the opposite piece. So I'll get back with you as soon as I'm done with that. All right, so you see I have the other piece glued in. I just put another bead of glue on it, facing the front. Wood One of the things I wanted to point out with these cam locks is be gentle with them. You're not going to break them, but I say be gentle because you don't have to be tough with them. You don't have to be super incredible Hulk, when you're turning it. Don't do anything like that. Just turn it until it's locked into place, until it stops, and then just give it a firm twist, but don't overdo it. I imagine you probably could break these things if you really tried, if you want to go all Hulk on it. But it just until it locks into place. You can see how these things work here. And I imagine if you're watching this video, you're probably sitting in front of a cardboard box right now going, how am I going to do this? But it's easy. You see it just locks into place. It grabs the other piece. That's all it does. And it works great. So don't overdo it. Don't try to over tighten it, because you can't tighten it beyond locked. Once it's locked, don't try to tighten it anymore. You'll just waste some energy, and that's that. Okay, so next part. You see I've got, what do I have here? Okay, I got the bottom. See the bottom over here? You want to make sure you're trying to put the right piece on. Oh yeah. Okay, this is good. See this right here? You see one side has this little, I don't know, what do you call it? Little L-shaped cutout, little 90-degree, almost 90. That one's off, isn't it? A little cutout there. That's going to face the front. So consider that the front. Consider that the back. Front, back. Went outside, came back in. Okay, so same thing. What you're gonna do is it slides in this little slot. You see, everything is set up to where you can just slide it together real easy. I'm gonna go ahead and put another bead of glue down that middle part. And what we have been doing is putting a little bead of glue on the sides there. I don't know about that, how well that really works out. I know that it drips a lot because, I don't set it on the side. So we'll be back in a second. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my bead of glue that is dripping horribly right now, and you can see I've actually made a mess of it, but hey, it's going to be underneath. Nobody's going to see it. I'm not even going to bother with it, really. You perfectionists out there, get your paper towels, whatever. Just enough, just to give it a little bit more hold. I know that one kind of sucks, but hey, it works, and these cam locks work great too. So anyway, all right, so I'm gonna grab this. Make sure you're putting the right side up. You don't want unfinished side up, you want finished side up. All right, so so you're gonna be standing like this, hopefully with somebody else helping you out. So see if I'm gonna use two hands here. You want to push it out a little bit, push it out so that it fits in there, and then you'll see it slides right in. What you can't see on the other side is that it's sliding right in. Okay, I made a mess. All right, that I will clean up. Wood glue for me has been easier to clean up while it's a little tacky, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up right now. And the other side, you can see it dripped out a little. I don't really like that, even though this dries fairly clear. It still has like an amber-like color, so we're not gonna leave that on the finished side. Unfinished side, who cares? Really? I mean, anyway. So there you are. So far, this is what we're looking like. Sides and bottom. You'll probably do it a lot faster than me, but then again, you probably won't be holding a camera while trying to do it one-handed. So let me just tell you, if you're wondering how many people does it take to do the cabinet, just one to put it together. It'll go faster if you've got two people. And when you're hanging the cabinets, as you can see, we haven't hung any yet. I would recommend at least 3 people. These things are sturdy. They are heavy when they're put together, and you don't want to be breaking corners or edges on them. Yeah. Oh, and don't do that right over there. You see, that's a wall cabin. I just set it down Remember, your wall cabinets, the bottom part is what you're going to be seeing. So yeah, don't do that. Keep it on a soft surface. That was our first one we put together. I've been afraid to look at the bottom. So anyway, yeah, so there we are. Oh yeah, that's our sink unit. That didn't come with the drawers. Just saying that. Yeah, cabinets to go. If you ever watch this video, I got you. 2 of my cabinets were missing the drawers. Yeah, that one, and then this guy over here. What's up with that? Came with the faces, no drawers. Oh well. It's okay though. We'll get them soon. All right. So, in my experience and the few cabinets that I've put together, these metal slides are the biggest pain in the butt of the whole process. But they're pretty easy. So that kind of tells you, you know, this whole assembly process is actually all right. So anyway, you get, depending on whatever your drawer specifications are or your cabinet specifications, you're going to get a few of these boxes. Mine has 2 drawers, 3 drawers, 3 drawers. Okay, sorry. So you're going to get these boxes of slides. Hang on a second, we'll unbox them together. All right, so I lost my razor, so we're gonna just use the flathead here, packing tape. Sorry for the focus. Okay, you got these cool little nylon holders here. Oh yeah, the directions, because they suck so badly and they look like they were translated from another language other than English to another language and then back to English. I don't know how to explain that one. But anyway, something that you will want to know is which side is up. Trust me, it might seem obvious. Okay, if you've done this before, you're probably laughing at me going, why doesn't he know what side is up? Well, if you've never done this before, you gotta wonder, because the drawings are miserable. Not in all cases. We actually found that some of the directions were better than others in some of the boxes. Yeah, anyway, their printing process was like terrible photocopy quality. Anyway, okay, so this, if it's sitting in the cabinet, this is up. You see that these 2 parts underneath, you see how there's like, I don't know what you'd call them, 2 supporting beams. That's the bottom. This is the top. Bottom, top. Okay? Important to know that it will never, in any case, will it ever sit on its side like this if it's facing you. It will never sit on its side like this if it's facing you. It will always be like this. So you're looking at that little groove, because that little groove part here is the important part. These are the supports. Just wanted to emphasize that. These things, when you're adjusting your drawers, they actually slide back and forth. You see how I slid it to the side, so don't be scared thinking that they got you a defective part. It's also good to know this when you're putting the screws in, so that you're like, oh, I can't put the second screw in. It might seem funny, but it's the truth, is that if you've never done this before, you're probably wondering, how am I going to do this if it's sitting like this? Well, that's how you do it. All right? So, up, not upside down. All right, important to know, so you don't have to go back and fix it later, okay? All right, in another box we had, it actually had a lengthwise opening on it, so we'll just do this. Yeah, okay, so it slid out. Nothing else in the box. Yes, I just threw it down. Anyway, backlighting. Sorry, I'm gonna go to this side so you can see better. Here we go with the slides. The back end has this little tooth on it. All right, back end has the tooth. The forward part of the slide is this part right here, okay? So, let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm gonna turn it upside down so you can see it. All right, so when it goes in the drawer, just to give you an idea of how, I'm sorry, in the cabinet, you see I have it upside down. This is upside down. I'm just showing this for demonstration purposes here. See this little tooth part is gonna fit. It's gonna fit in there. And that's pretty much how it's gonna sit on the drawer. It is not going to fit all the way in. It's it gives it a little leeway so that, you know, it's adjustable. I think these are mass manufactured for many different types of drawers. So, you know, I think it's a one size fits all solution. It will not go completely firmly snug all the way in there. I mean, it is snug, but I'm saying that when it's sitting in your cabinet, it's not going to go all the way. So don't be worried if you're thinking, oh no, it's not fitting all the way back in. It's fine. It really is. You can see a little tongue and groove there. That's how it works. And this will sit in the back of the cabinet. All right. You want to make sure that you adjust it, and I'll show you later on how we do that. But it will be adjusted in the cabinet so that the slide will move just right. So give me a second, and we'll continue on. One other thing about these is that there is a left and there is a right, depending on your orientation, right? Okay, so facing it, left side. If I was opening the drawer, saying woohoo right there, okay. If that was the drawer, left side, right side. And the other thing is what I will show you later is that you're actually going to be putting one of the screws through that first hole. So if you're wondering what these holes are for, it's going to go through that. Oh, that's a big one too. I will show you when we get to that point, because we thought that there was. Well, I'll get into that later, but remember this. If you're wondering, how am I supposed to secure it? It's supposed to go through this hole here, okay? That's not clear on the directions. But we found out and we figured it out, and there is a pre-drilled hole, so you don't have to worry about it. So as you can see, each box is supposed to come with 2 nylon supports, and then a left and a right. And something that you can kind of see here is that it actually says right and it actually says left. So yeah, that'll help you. They all come wrapped in this DTC tape, and I'm guessing that the Chinese characters say DTC. I don't know what they stand for, but anybody watching this that can read Chinese, let me know, because I'm curious. Anyway, the reason why we unboxed these right now, even though the cabinet's really not ready for them, is because we need these parts right now. And you can see that these holes come pre-drilled, pretty awesome. So you don't have to worry about lining them up or anything like that, because they're already lined up. You want to make sure that the groove, look at the groove, that's the bottom, okay? The groove is the bottom because it's going to fit onto this part right here. All right, very important to remember that, because if you put these on upside down, I don't know why you would, but I imagine that it's possible you could make that mistake. Don't worry, I forgive you for right now for that, don't worry. Because I'm sure that I might have made that mistake, but we won't talk about that. So here we go. We got these guys right here, little nylon teeth things. They fit right in the hole, kind of, sort of. There we go. This fits in the hole. You see I've got the 2 supports on the bottom, Very important to remember that. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing for the rest of them. If you mess it up, you accidentally put it in upside down or whatever, don't stress. Wiggle it out gently, kind of gently. Okay, be a little more firm with it. Okay, so it comes up. You see that I kind of splintered that a little bit. I don't care, all right? The hole is still there. It's fine, it'll hold. There we go. This guy right here, same thing. Now, chances are you're, wondering about this. Is this really going to be difficult? Still wondering if this is something you can do, but remember, I just got to remind you, I'm doing this with one hand and the camera in the other, so you can do this. Super easy. All right, so now that I've got that on, right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the back on. You put the drawer slides in after the back is on. And I'll show you in just a minute. All right, so here we are again. I got my wood glue, Gorilla Glue, made in the USA. Oh, yeah, these cabinets were not made in the USA. They're made in China. So if you're wondering if these are American-made cabinets, no, they're not. I wish I had known that before I purchased them, because there are some American companies, and I am in support of American manufacturing. So ask ahead of time. I don't know if Cabinets to Go does have cabinets that are made in the United States, but you know, if you're cool with buying outside of the country, and I am, you know, free trade and everything like that, that's cool. If you want to buy American cabinets, go find some American cabinets. But really for, oh, nice. If you're looking for a good discount, these are a good deal. But they do happen to be made in China. Anyway, so here we go. Get my wood glue. This is going to run all the way down to the lock. So I'm just going to put a little bit here, and you'll see how this kind of bleeds out. I don't got to do anything major. These things are still held together really well. Just something from my old shop class, I remember. You want something to stay together, you want to make some good furniture, you use wood glue. Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. All right. There we go. See, got to make sure it's all fit together. That's sitting together right. You can see how some of the wood glue seeped down there. I don't care. It's fine. So, now we got that going. I'm going to do another bead of wood glue here to keep this segment short. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and get back to you. All right, I said I was going to do it, but you know, these pieces are really light. The plywood, so it doesn't take anything major, you know, no major effort to lift them. You know, so anyway, this is just going to be a little awkward while I try to hold the camera and do this. So, there we go. Okay, so I got most of it up here. I just wanted to show you that it's easy to just kind of set the cams in. You want to make sure the cam locks are in. Once face down, you see that my tabs are sticking down now. And what's kind of cool is the tabs or the cams just kind of they set in really easy, especially if you've made sure to line them up ahead of time. Let's check the other side. See the cams. Look at that sitting right in there. That's fine. This one is not. Okay. So I'm going to work on that, make sure that they're sitting in there right, and then lock them in, okay? All right. So I actually had a little trouble putting the lock inside of this cam, but that's where my handy little rubber mallet came in handy. Is that I just I tapped it in, and it worked out just fine. It went right in. So don't be afraid to use your rubber mallet if you have one, and if you don't, go get one. All right, so we've got the majority of this thing together. Some people might say, well, why didn't you put the shelf little brackets and hangers or whatever you want to call them? I'm not a technical guy, so don't assume here. Anyway, my wife actually preferred to put the shelves in after the cabinet was largely assembled, but before the drawers, because it's hard to get an idea of where you want to put the drawer. I'll show you in this one. I think we have them the shelf, and you can see that the shelf in this one actually sits back pretty far. I think the directions actually say to put the shelf in before the back is on, but that didn't really make sense to us, especially since it's sitting on its face, and you know, you want to put the back on when it's laying down flat. So anyway, you can you can, let me tell you, you can put the shelf in while it's, when the back is on. You don't have a center section, not on this model anyway, you don't have a center section to block it. If you did, if you had a beam going down the middle, or if you're going to add one for any particular reason, yeah, you'd probably want to try to put the shelf in ahead of time. But what we're doing is we're going to put the shelf in after it's sitting up. All right? One final real part for this is the kick plate. You see the kick plate goes at the bottom there, and you see I actually kicked the kick plate. I kicked it over here. You see that attaches over on those bottom cams, which will soon be the front cams. I've got to turn this thing over, so I'll be back in a second. All right, so I pretty much rolled this thing over. That's why you have to have a soft surface. You're going to be working on a lot of, pretty much on the finished surfaces are going to have to be face down for quite a bit of this. You can see, as long as I don't fall, you can see that there's a lot of dust that gets on it. Worry about that later. Just make sure that you don't chip it. So yeah. All right, so I got the kick plate. Same thing. You don't really have to use wood glue on the kick plate, because if you ever have any issues, if you're, say you got a water pipe or you ran PEX or something like that, imagine you could leave these loose. I was, the whole reason we tore out our kitchen is we bought this house, and there were a lot of rodent issues. I'm not the best drywaller, as you can see, but hey, it's going to be covered by backsplash and everything. So anyway, if the kick plates had been really removable, it would have been easier to repair a lot of the issues that we found that I figured would be common in some older homes. If you've got, if you live in the countryside and, you've got like mice living everywhere or whatever, then yeah, you're probably going to want to do something to where you can make these kick plates a little bit easier to remove. I'm going to go ahead and lock mine in because I'm confident in the exclusion job that I did. But it's up to you. I'm not going to use wood glue on this one because if I have to take it off, I don't want to break the entire cabinet down. If I have to break anything, I'm just going to take this off. So anyway, some people would think I'm kind of nuts, but hey, that's all right. There's only one person that matters that thinks I'm nuts. So here we go. Okay, so you can see it just sits right in there. Kind of, if I did it right. There we go. Okay, cool. There it is. There it is. In place, ready to go. I'm gonna lock it down, make my decision later on what I want to do with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the main cabinet. I'll get back to you in a minute on how to put the drawers in. Stand by. All right, so as you can see, I've got it up right now. I've got it up right now. Up right now? Yeah, somebody will appreciate that. All right, so take your time at this point in time to take a walk around it and make sure that there aren't any obvious problems, any scratches, dings like that. I mean, yes, you could go back later with a furniture pin. Might as well just take care of it now if you have any issues. Oh yeah, furniture pin. Get one of those. Make sure it's the same color as your cabinets, because as you're working, you're bound to get a ding or a scratch, or the manufacturer sent it with a chip or something. And you want to be able to fill it in and make sure that nobody can see it. You can see it really has a beautiful finish. It's like laminated plywood on the sides, and then you've got the solid wood on the front. It's not the cheap fiberboard garbage that we used to have in our kitchen that, moisture and rodents and everything else, destroyed over time. That junk that fiberboard junk, you know, good luck if that's the type that you chose. Strongly recommend it. It's against it. It's garbage. It's meant for like offices, you know, where they might tear it out in 5 years or whatever. This is the solid stuff. You got the plywood. It's going to last years, years and years, and it'll just add the value to your home. It's flexible. As far as, you know, any kind of torquing of the house during California earthquakes. And, you know, if you're putting these in tornado country, well, I guess you'll have an awesome hang glider. No, just kidding, kind of. I know that's bad, but anyway. Yeah. So, yeah. Next, we're going to just make sure, oh, see right there? See, I left a little wood glue. So I'm going to wipe that up. And then we're going to go ahead and put these slides in. I'll show you how that works as soon as I'm done with this. All right, so super easy, super easy. I have the slide. You can see no tooth, tooth. And then you can see how this side, the thing with the holes in it, it just scoots up against the back here. All right, so you don't have to be super creative or artistic to do this right, even though I am. Anyway, so yeah, you scoot it in there. You see, it doesn't have to go far into it. It doesn't have to go far. It will hold. It is fine. That's what those two little support things are at the bottom. They hold it. And you might think that it's rinky-dink. Yes, I said rinky-dink, but it's actually fine. It's just fine. Now, one of the things I want to point out, because we weren't sure about this before, is that you're going to use some of those tiny little flat screws, and you want to line this up. You know, work it off. If I had two hands, it'd be easier. So, my one-handed friends out there, they're trying to put a cabinet together. You can do this. You just won't be able to videotape it. Anyway. Well, maybe you could. Probably more adaptive than I am. Anyway, here we go. So it's in there. And it's in there. You can leave it just like that until you finish the others. And then you can go and screw it in when you're done. So I'm going to do one more to demonstrate that the other side is different. Only in that it's, you know, left and right. So as long as you can work your left hand and your right hand, know your left and right, you'll do just fine. It was challenging for me because sometimes I get confused. Okay, so let's see if I can turn my light on. I can't. Okay. Windows phone. It's an awesome phone, by the way, but I'd love the option to be able to turn the light on while I'm videotaping. So if you can't see it, the hole is lined up to the metal hole. So now when we're looking at it like this, you can see that they're sitting in the nylon brackets, and they're just resting on that lip right there. It's perfectly fine. They're not going to go anywhere unless you have a big earthquake right now. Just kidding. Sorry, I haven't had breakfast. It's early. Not really. I just got up late. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? See, there's always something. There's always something. I didn't screw those things in, which is fine because you know what? Watch this. Ta-da! They come out easy. I'm going to screw them in and get back to you. Hey, I hope that you're not trying to put your cabinets together while you're watching this video. Yeah, because you can see I made a mistake here. What you need to do is, while this is still on its back, you don't have to do it when it's on its back, but I strongly recommend it. Go ahead and screw those things in, screw these guys in while it's still on its back. You can see it's strong enough with those little teeth there, but you know what's going to happen is that when you get your your cabinets together, and it's going to become your junk drawer. You have all your junk in it, and then it's going to fall and collapse. And oh yeah, that's the other thing. Check this out. Check this out. You saw those little pistons that were inside there, right? I guess that's what you call them, little gas pistons. Check it out. Yeah, soft close. How do you like that? Pretty cool. Anyway, so what I was saying is, you know, you don't want these things to collapse when you've got your junk drawer going. You know, you got your paper clips and your pens and, you know, those bills that you never pay. Yeah. Okay. All right, so here we are back to the screws again. I've separated them up. We need 8 screws to put in 4 brackets, right? Cool. And then for the drawers, you might think, oh man, I need like what, 8 screws to do that? No, you don't. You don't. And it's the structure itself is going to be supporting the weight of these brackets. So you only need 4. Make sure that that's how many you've got. You know, yeah. So you should have what, 12? Is my math all right? Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yes, I had to count. Just had to make sure, right? Doesn't hurt to make sure while you're doing this. I'm going to go ahead and take these guys over and go ahead and put them in. Those holes are not pre-drilled. Again, you're going into plywood. Plywood does not really need to be pre-drilled. From my experience with plywood is limited to these kitchen cabinets and mounting electronic stuff at work. So, yeah. Ooh, don't want to do that. Okay. All right. I'll be back in a second. All right. So I just set the phone down. Yes, Windows phone. Just thought it'd be kind of a cool perspective to see how I do this. It goes into, well, you can't see the hole, so I guess it doesn't matter. But anyway. Goes right in. Make sure it can slide over it. Yeah. And do that for all of them. You'll be set. Oh, a handy little device is this little extension, dude, because the drill is a little too fat to get in there. So yeah, that works out great to put the screws in. So yeah, get one of these too. It helps. All right, so now that I'm done and I've left myself a trip hazard, we're gonna take a look at these. You see how I've still got to screw these guys in. Looks like I messed this one up. I don't know how I managed that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my foot, sorry. Okay, so I got this guy lined up. I got this boy lined up right here. All right. When you're screwing it in, make sure that this is like at a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle means like the corner of a perfect square. Yeah, if there's any mathematicians or whatever, if that's right, give me a thumbs up. But yeah, pretty much just at an angle to where it's flat on the side, flat on the bottom, all right? If it's not, you're gonna have a hard time with your drawer. We discovered this with one of our other drawers. I tweaked it kind of badly too. So you do have to take some care in making sure that these things are flush and flat against it. So flush, if you've never put cabinets together, whatever, flush just means like butted up against, flat, so that it's together. Like imagine 2 sheets of paper flushed together, you know. That's kind of how I imagine it, and that's how it needs to be. So like when you're looking at this, you can see, whoops, sorry, there you go. You can see it's flat against it, as flat as it can be. It does have a rise, yes, but as flat as against it as it can be. It needs to be like that when you put the screw in. Like I said, if it's not like that, when you put the screw in, you're gonna mess it up, and you're gonna spend hours because you'll be so frustrated because your drawer won't go in perfectly and it won't slow close just right, and it will bother you the entire time that you own your home. And even if you sell it and move out to a better home that has better cabinets, it will still bother you that somebody bought your house with that cabinet with a bad drawer. I promise you. All right, my friends. So I've got my Ryobi, and I have a magnetic tip. You know, it has that little magnet in it, so hold it, hopefully. And I set it to the lowest torque setting so that if it spins, or hopefully it won't spin, but you know, so it won't go in too tight. If you tighten it, too much, you're going to spin the screw, and then it just won't hold as well as it would. So you don't want your screw to spin in there. Some people might say do this by hand. Go ahead. I'm not going to. That's all there is to it, all right? So we're going to do this with the rest of them. And like I said, make sure that, you know, when you had set it down and you were putting the screw in, make sure that both ends were flat. You'd think that it would pull it flat. It really doesn't. You need to make sure that it's flat against it before you put the screw in. All right, so now I've got the screws in. They don't have to be perfectly flat inside of it. This whole thing needs to be flat. So, you know, I'm holding it down with my fingers as I was screwing the others in. Yeah, so they're in there. One of the things that you can adjust. Seems like a stupid adjustment, but it works. You know, simple works best. When you're putting your drawers in, you know, every drawer is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be slightly different. These things are made really well, but as wood glows, no, it doesn't. As wood goes, there are going to be slight imperfections, slight differences in every drawer. And in order to make these things slide right, you got to line these guys up too. So you can still move these back and forth. Don't do it too much. You know, like don't go back and forth like I just did a whole lot. Just make your adjustments. You want your drawers to go in smoothly, but we don't have the drawers in yet. So the top's going to be off. So when you do put your drawer in, you'll be able to make those adjustments there. Something else I want to point out to you right now, without the drawer in, these teeth here, these guys right here, they fit into some of the holes on the back of the drawer. There is a front and back of the drawer. The face just attaches to a box. So you got to imagine the drawer is a box. The face attaches to that box. So the face is not actually one of the supporting walls of the drawer. Important to know that there is a front and back, because if you get your parts mixed up and you put like two backs on one box or two fronts on one box, you're going to have to take that box apart again, because you need a front and you need a back. Okay? All right. So this is essentially the completed cabinet without the shelf in it. I haven't put the shelf in. I'll do that. I will get to it. Have no fear. So onto the drawers now. I'm going to start putting these drawers together. I would recommend sitting down at a table and doing it. So I'm going to go clean off the mess of a table that we have in the other room. It's got a bunch of fast food in, because, you know, we haven't had a kitchen since like November, and now it's, what are we in, going into August. So yeah, a few pounds, a lot of trash later, we're finally getting our kitchen. So I'm going to go clear it off because there's a whole bunch of fast food junk on it, so forgive me. We're usually not slobs. All right, so what we have here, we've got all the parts for the drawers, hopefully. I didn't inventory them yet. You got the bottom, shiny side up, and then the faces. The faces are just the faces, all right? They attach to the drawer when they're done. They're not actually a structural part of the drawer. If you don't understand, you'll see what I mean in a minute, all right? So I'm gonna work on that. I gotta unwrap all these. Got my drill, and I've got my screws, and I've got my water, and my rubber mallet, and my screwdriver. All right, that's pretty much all you need. I didn't use wood glue on these drawers. I didn't see any real reason to, because they fit together really well. All right, I'm going to point out the differences between the front and the back now. What I mean is the front face. So if the drawer is together, this is how, give me just a second here. There we go. All right. So, okay, so if this is the inside of the drawer, this would be the back, this would be the front. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, sorry. It looks like it's auto adjusting for the color, but anyway. These are the 3 holes to attach or screw through to the front. So the face is actually going to be going on this side. All right. Very important that you know the difference, that you have 2 different types of pieces here. They're not the same. Because on this side you can see, oh, they look like the same. They've got teeth, they'll fit together. You can actually put 2 backs together. Have 2 backs on your sides, and then you're going to be wondering, why isn't this fitting right? Yeah, we did it. So, or I did it. That's what my wife would tell you. And it's true. I did. Okay, so this is the back. And you can see that during the manufacturing, there are little defects, little flaws in how they did this. Yeah, so, you know, just chip some of that off, you know. Don't be rough with these, because if these tabs break off, which we had one do, because there was actually a crack in it from the manufacturer, I just glued it back on, and it worked fine. Gorilla Glue will fix anything wood. I'd be shocked if you had a problem using Gorilla Glue. Anyway, so yeah, you can see little defects, but it's fine. Those teeth I was talking about before, they're going to fit in those holes right there. So just make sure that you know, you got everything facing the right way. So I'm going to start putting these together. I'll get back to you in a second. All right, so on the sides, you've got the sides. Remember, the groove is the bottom part. All right, bottom. Because these have these little notches, you know, this is the back one. So that pretty much, you get your orientation pretty set there. All right. Just remember that. All right. So as you can see, I reoriented these things because, you know, I'm like geometrically challenged. I did this so that I'd be able to see the teeth when I'm working on them. They're going to fit together. So they've got the side piece, and we got this guy right here. You can take this guy, and he's going to go, sorry, left-handed. He's going to go in here, okay? Let's see if I can get this all set while you can see it. All right, I'm going to give this a shot without knocking the phone over here. So it fits in here, and I'm going to end up tapping it in with my mallet. I don't think I can do this with one hand, so hang on. All right. See, I told you I'd work this out. I put the face on the other side just to hold it up while I'm doing this, just to make it a little bit easier. We'll see how this goes. I would normally be doing this with 2 hands. Do it nice and slow. Go back and forth, tapping it gently. If you know a better way to do this, let me know. Because, you know, I may be doing this again someday. I hope not. Okay, as you see, I got a little chip. My woodworking friends would probably say, man, that sucks. Whatever. It's how it's going to be. And like I said, Gorilla Glue fixes all flaws. Alright. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around to the other side. So I'm going to drop it. And break it. And then get mad at it. And then throw it down the hill. Yeah, I won't do that. Okay, so same thing. Make sure it's kind of lined up as best as I can get it right now. And And then, yeah, I know I'm doing this on a wooden table, but you know, it's taken way more abuse from my kids, so I'm not too concerned. Something I just want to point out here is that you can see that in the manufacturing, that piece already had a chip off of it. So, like I said, if it's missing something or it's got a minor chip or whatever, don't stress out. It's nothing major. Ta-da! Good luck getting that apart. Done it before. I had to do it. Pretty much because I messed up the other side. So, because this is getting a little long on this segment, I'm going to go ahead and get this last piece on as soon as I slide the bottom in. See, look at that. Look at that. Well, you've got three... Yes. Well, you have one side off. Make sure that you slide the bottom in. Shiny side up. That's the mistake I once made. That's why, well, yeah. Okay, so I made two mistakes. I'm gonna make sure. Okay, yeah. Two hands really helps on this one. Yeah, sorry. You got to see my ceiling, I think. Interesting metal wall that these people had in this home. We haven't figured out what we want to do with it. Probably going to turn it into a false rock wall. There's an awesome website. It's like fauxstonepanels.com or something like that. They also make wood panels on their other website. We're probably going to finish that off with some faux rock instead of this metal corrugated stuff. It's kind of awesome. It makes me think of that Airplanes restaurant in the in Disneyland, but it might have to go. Kind of cool. I just don't have any of those airplane metal sign decor to go with it. Anyway, so I'm going to stop talking about that now. Get back to cabinets. Okay. So, yeah, I think I'm good. Turn it around. Make sure. See. You want to make sure that it's sitting in there and you don't have a gap. So I'm going to fix that and then I'll get back to you. All right, so I fixed that gap. It really helps to have two hands to do that because you kind of have to bow the center back in to make sure that it slides in and fits perfectly. You want to make sure, sorry for the focus, you want to make sure that this guy isn't risen up into where the teeth fit together, because if this is where the teeth are at, it's not going to fit right, all right? So now that I have the bottom in, remember to put the bottom in while you still have one side off. You can go ahead and put the other side on. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I've got this together. Make sure that it's lined up right, like I showed you before. You want to be mindful of some of the weaker areas too. You see that when they I don't know what you would call it, milled it, machined it, whatever. You can see that there is like a little split here, something, I don't know what it is. There's like a line. I know you can't see it too well, but I'm always mindful of that when I'm putting it in, because I think if it cuts like tile, you know, and there's like a little split here, you just want to make sure that you're not damaging it, you're not making it worse. So just be gentle with it, as gentle as you can be. These go in kind of tight, so you can't be super gentle. And something else I also noticed here that's weird, knot stain, whatever it is. I see it extends through to the tooth, so just got to be careful about that. You can see that I hammered it in so that they're a little bit deeper than flush. I don't know if that matters. For me, I don't care. So just if you want to make them flush, good to go. Yours will be prettier than mine. All right, so if you don't have a rubber mallet, you can do this with your hand. It hurts, but you can. See? It works just fine. Less pain with a rubber mallet. And if you have arthritis, I'm sorry, don't do this. Okay. You want to take a look, just take a look inside. Make sure that you're good to go. You can see in the manufacturing process, there's this strange line that goes across. I don't know what the deal is with that. But it'll be at the back of my junk drawer, so don't worry. Okay, so you got your 3 holes, 3 seashells. Yeah, demolition man. Anyway, you got the 3 holes. That's where the face is going to be connecting to it. On the bottom, when you've got it assembled, when you got the box assembled, no notches at the front, notches at the back. Notches at the back. Got it? And you can also see in a little manufacturing defect here, you can see that we've got a bit of a gap that's right there. It doesn't really affect anything because the drawer bottom is fine. It's not going to let anything out. But you can see up here that there's much less of a gap there. So examine your pieces. I just noticed here as I was doing this that there's a minor split just on this layer of this board. Not a big deal because, you know, it's a piece of plywood as well. Not a big deal. Plywood is going to come flawed. You want to make sure that splits like that just don't go all the way through. If a split like that is going all the way through, just return it to Cabinets to Go or whoever it is that you bought your stuff from. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. These holes here, you'll see that when we put it in the drawer slide, there's going to be a little nub that actually fits in these, in the front ones, not in the rear ones, just the front ones. Okay. What else? That's it for now. I'm gonna put the face on. I'll show you how to do that. All right, correction. Before you put the face on, get some of those here. I know it's in a cup, but no, that's easier. Get these guys. All right, they're shiny metal, zinc coated screws. No idea what the length is. Just whatever. That's all we got. It's all we need. Go ahead and set them in. If you want to use wood glue there, I guess you could. We did because we actually spun some of these. You can do it by hand if you want to. I'm not going to. Again. So there you go. Just right there. Nice and slow. It just needs to grab it. Yeah. All the way down with the torque setting. With the torque setting set at its lowest, you know, it doesn't need, you don't need to like drill it all to Hades. You just need to get it in there so that it holds it, all right? Because you will regret it. If you spin them. Because these teeth are awesome, but that screw helps a lot. That's why I'm not using wood glue on these guys. It's because these teeth hold so well, and these screws help out to hold it all together. So you've got these screws on both sides. So you're using 4 screws per drawer to keep it together. Not gravity. Why can't we seem to keep it together? Ta-da! One-handed. No, I better not. All right, so this is going to be exceedingly difficult to do with one hand. We're going to give it a shot anyway. I'm going to change this over to the Phillips head because last I used this was on those cam locks. Very handy because I get 2 in 1. Don't have to switch between both. Just whatever. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get the face. Let's get the face. Front, back. We know that, right? Okay. Yeah, don't know what that is. Quality control stamp, I suppose. Don't worry about this hole or this big old ugly looking pre-drill, whatever it is. Like I said, I think they probably used that during the manufacturing process to lacquer these things, I suppose. Who knows? You are concerned about this hole, and this hole. No jokes. So we're going to start with the top one because it's the easiest one to make everything balance off of, okay? So I took one of the black screws, and you take the black screw and you put it through the wood, all right? You don't have to screw it in, it fits right in. The screw is screwing to this guy. It's not screwing to the face, so it fits right in. Don't worry that something's gone wrong. It fits right in. Look, see, let me just show you. I just have to emphasize this because I know there's some people out there, just like me, that have never done this before. All right? Fits right in. You don't need to screw it in. It fits it right in there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up right there, all right? I'm going to see if I can do this while I still videotaping here. All right, so I can't do this with one hand. I'll get it on there and you'll see. Make sure that you line these up right the first time, because if you screw it in, you're essentially making another hole. And then when you try to line it up again, it's not going to fit quite right because you will have weakened that hole, okay? So, well, to explain that, if you put another hole right next to it, it weakens that hole, you know what I mean? So, yeah, don't do that. If you have to, they've got some cool wood putty to fill holes back in with. You can fill it back in and let it dry. It's super strong. You could probably use the wood glue for it too. I just imagine that it wouldn't be as strong as the wood putty as far as re-drilling. So, yeah, don't do that. We haven't had to do that, but I know you can. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to show you as I was doing it, but I went ahead and what I did was I put 2 screws in first and kind of held them like this with one hand. I did have the third in the hole there, but I was holding these 2. If these 2 line up, that one's going to line up, all right? So you get these 2 in, you just have to hold this in and make sure you can kind of see how you can look through and make sure that you get them in the holes. I hand tighten them, just enough to get some of the teeth in so that it's holding it. You want to look at it like this and make sure that it's even. Get your measuring tape if you've got a measuring tape. Just make sure that it's even. You want it the same size both ways. If you don't have a measuring tape, use an old artist trick. Grab a piece of paper, or heck, you could even use your screwdriver. And oh look, see, it lines up right here. So get your thumb where it's at and make sure that it's at the same point in all the places. That way you can make sure that it's lined up right. At that angle, it didn't look right, but trust me, it is. Just make sure it's all lined up, and then tighten them down little by little on each side. You want to do a little bit on each side at a time. Wow, weird sense of deja vu right there. Sorry. Do a little bit at a time on each one. Don't crank one down and then go to the next. Bring them in together. All right? So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll show you how it fits in the cabinet. All right, so I'm back in I'm back in the room that will be our kitchen. So I've got my completed drawer. I think it looks darn good. Oh, if you're wondering what the style is of this particular cabinet, it is Buckingham Sienna rope. Buckingham, I guess if you want to say it that way. But it sounds classier if you go Buckingham. English people watching this, correct me. All right. See how they say it near the crown, right? Buckingham Sienna Group. Made in China. All right? All right, cool. So, now that it's in, or together, I'm going to take it. And we found a couple ways to do this. Easiest way is to go ahead and slide it in. Real easy to do when you've got two people, 4 hands. I'm going to try to do this with 1 hand since I've got this videotape. Archaic term these days. Raised in the 90s, man. 80s and 90s, you know, those millennium kids. All right, give me a second. Gotta set it down while I do this. All right, I'm just gonna let it sit like that. What you didn't see me do was when I was putting it in, these rails weren't lining up to these grooves in the back, right? So what I had to do is I had to slide the back in order to make it fit right. You want to make sure that you're lining up. It's okay if it's sticking out like that. It will hold. These brackets are strong. Somebody engineered them. Somebody was paid a good deal of money to engineer them. So they work, all right? Trust me, they are fine. Yeah, so slide it back here. You see these teeth here? They need to fit in those holes. Let's see, I still have a gap over here, right? Let's see if I can do this. Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness. It looks like it fits just fine. All right, so bring it back. See, I'm doing this with 1 hand, squeezing it back in. A lot easier to do if you're doing it with 2 hands. Okay, so it looks like this one is sitting in there a whole lot better than this one. If that's the case, then again, you want to adjust your rails, slide them over a little bit. Give it a little whack. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right. So those rails are pretty adjusted well. I think you can see there's a little bit of a rise in the drawer. That's because of those little nubs I was telling you about. Those are my knees cracking, by the way. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there we go. That's the problem right there. That nub has to fit in that hole. No jokes. So I'm gonna make it fit. Give me just a minute. All right. I wish I could have shown you that, but I needed 2 hands to do it. I was not gentle. I had to make that nub fit. So do what you got to do. These things, they're pretty strong. You can tweak them a little bit in order to get them to fit inside of that wooden nub. Gotta make sure that the other side's in too. Once those are in, you see that the sides they fit in there really nice and flush. So let's see how this works. It should glide smoothly and evenly. I can see that these aren't perfectly lined up in the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this over a little bit if you'll let me. There we go. Is it moving? Oh, sorry, you didn't see that, huh? Okay, moved it over a little bit. By moving this one, you can see that it actually affects the other one. So anyway, let's go nice and easy. You can see it doesn't go in nice, so I'm gonna tap both sides a little bit, make a little bit of an adjustment. Yeah, and see that doesn't want to go in, so I screwed something up somewhere. Let's find out what I did. All right, well, my woodworking friends, I'm gonna take a minute to figure out what I did wrong, and I'll get back to you. All right, so I figured it out. Stupid mistake. I had actually made the same mistake on another drawer. They say live and learn, but sometimes you don't. It was when I was putting that nub in on this side. sorry, on the other side, I popped this one out. So make sure before you try to go to close the drawer, you make sure that both of the nubs are still in. I didn't check when I did that. So when you put one of the nubs in, sometimes it pops the other out. And I've had this problem before. I left a good little gouge in there by trying to close it too hard, but can't really see it. Don't tell my wife. Although she'll see this anyway. All right, so now let's give it a shot. Nice slow close. So there you go. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna get the other one together. I suspect you won't need to see me do that one. So I'm going to show you one other thing. Other than putting the shelf in. The shelf in, I don't think I really need to go into that because it's pretty self-explanatory. You can put it in from the front. Just open it up, the shelf in. Just remember that these guys here, it's a little bit of a pain. It's a little bit of a pain. You want to put this, you want to make sure that the shelf fits right between these two here. Take your time, don't get angry with it. This is one of the most frustrating parts. It's easy, but it's frustrating because it doesn't go in perfectly all the time, okay? Beyond that, I'm going to show you how to adjust the doors so that they are level. You can see that they are slightly off here. Really easy adjustment because of these cool hinges that they've got going on here. You can see it actually shows you up, down, side to side. You make adjustments to those screws and then you can make your doors level. So I don't think I need to go into that. Just experiment with that. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. Be gentle. Take your time. Step back and look at your product as you're working on it, and I think you'll do just fine. Let me know what you think or what you thought of my tutorial. I hope I helped. I know that having something like this when I was first working on these would have been helpful. I couldn't find anything on YouTube about cabinets to go other than, just like generic commercial stuff. So this is a real life application. I think that when we go to hang these cabinets, I'll do another tutorial as well. I've never done it before, a little nervous about it. You can see it doesn't have any kind of lock and groove system where you can, hang it up. So you actually secure these guys to the wall with some screws, and the ones hanging on the walls, I know some anchors. They've got really good, strong plywood at the top areas for you to go through to hang these. So it'll be a learning experience for me. And leave me some feedback and let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye. All right, so one other thing is focus. All right, I forgot to tell you about was the corner brackets. Get your magnetic tip or screwdriver or whatever, and it just takes 2 per bracket. And put them right in there. All right, yeah. First one in there. Give me another screw. So what I've been liking to do is I like to just prep them by putting the screw in the trays ahead of time. That way I don't have to deal with walking back and forth. Yeah. There. Okay. Sorry. That's me. So there it is. Just do all 4 corners now. Not that difficult. And again, you're going into plywood. Don't pre-drill it. You don't need to. You'll be fine. Just use the screws that it came with and make sure that you're using the right screws. And those corner mounts. These guys right here, right? The short ones with the round heads, not the flat ones. Also, I didn't show you this either. These are just stickers. You peel them off. and then stick them to the corner of the door of the cabinet, so that when the cabinet's open, if you stick it to the frame that the door closes on, then you'll see them all the time, when the cabinet's open. But just put them on the door instead. You'll be fine on the corners. Make sure that they line up. Make sure that these little bumpers line up right with the frame, so that when you close the door, it's actually catching on something. Beyond that, we're good to go. Have a good day.